The courtroom was packed. The rows of polished wooden chairs creaked as lawyers and reporters prepared to take notes. No one expected a financial fraud trial to produce anything more than dry arguments. Ethan Carter, a veteran cop, stood near the door. Beside him stood Leo, a German Shepherd K9, known for his calm, intelligent, and precise work ethic. Leo had been sitting still since the morning, his dark brown eyes scanning the room, seemingly missing nothing. To the crowd, he was just a decoration to the solemnity of the courtroom. But Ethan knew that Leo had never truly rested. He had always trusted his instincts that had saved lives many times before. No one knew that, just a few minutes later, Leo would do something that would completely change the whole day. The trial began, the gavel clanging as Judge Harper Wells took the stand. Morning light streamed through the tall windows, creating a solemn atmosphere as usual. Attorneys carefully arranged their papers, and the jury listened attentively to the testimony of witnesses. Ethan glanced down at Leo, who was still sitting still, but his ears were starting to prick up. A tension ran through the leash. He frowned. "What's wrong, Leo?" he whispered. Leo sniffed, took a few deep breaths, and then let out a nervous groan. He had never seen him react like that in a normal trial. Unease rose in Ethan. He tightened his grip on the leash, his eyes scanning the room, but finding nothing out of the ordinary. His instincts told him that Leo had sensed something that humans couldn't. No one in the courtroom noticed anything unusual until Leo suddenly growled. The sound echoed through the large room, causing everyone to freeze. Ethan felt the leash in his hand tighten, as Leo stood up, his eyes fixed on the area below the judge's podium. "Leo, calm down," Ethan ordered, but the dog did not listen. It let out a sharp bark and charged toward the podium, its claws raking the wooden floor. The entire courtroom held its breath, anxious whispers ringing out everywhere. Judge Harper frowned and banged his gavel. "Get that dog under control." But Ethan knew the reaction was justified. He tugged on the leash, trying to restrain Leo, but the dog still tried to crawl into the space under the platform. A deep growl rumbled from its throat, urgent and tense. A chill ran down Ethan's spine. He followed Leo's wary gaze and realized that something serious was lurking beneath the surface where no one had noticed for so long. Ethan knelt, his hands shaking as he opened the small panel beneath the judge's podium. The hinges creaked with an eerie sound. Leo rushed forward, his nose pressed into the darkness, growling warily. The flashlight beam illuminated a rectangular object wrapped in black electrical tape. A few thin wires protruded from the edges of the tape, connecting to a red LED that was blinking steadily. Ethan felt his blood run cold. "It's a bomb," he whispered hoarsely. The entire courtroom shook. Gasps and screams of panic rang out. The backup police officer immediately shouted, "Everyone leave the room immediately!" The audience scrambled to flee. Wooden chairs were knocked over, and papers were flying everywhere. Judge Harper stood there for a few seconds, stunned, before being dragged toward the exit by two policemen. Ethan held onto the leash, pulling Leo back, but his eyes were still glued to the deadly device. There were only minutes left before it exploded. At that moment, the bomb squad rushed in, wearing heavy protective suits. Every movement was tense, every breath was caught. Leo stood next to Ethan, no longer barking, but his eyes were still fixed on the bomb, as if he understood that he had saved everyone in this room. Outside the courthouse, the gray sky seemed to weigh down on the crowd huddled behind the security fence. Fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars flashed their lights, red and blue lights, sweeping across everyone's tense faces. Ethan knelt next to Leo, placing his hand on the dog's back as if to calm himself. "You did a great job, Leo," he whispered. In response, Leo licked his hand, his eyes steady, but his ears still perked up, following the bomb squad's every move. Inside, a bomb technician slowly lifted the device, placing it gently in a special isolation box. Another worker checked the timer, which was counting down the seconds. Ethan's heart nearly jumped out of his chest when he saw the number on the screen. Just over a minute left. "Move," the shout rang out, and the box was quickly loaded into the truck. The door slammed shut. Everyone held their breath. A boom rang out, but the sound was compressed inside the isolation device. A thin puff of smoke escaped, then silence. The intercom rang out, "Deactivation successful." Cheers and applause erupted. Many people cried tears of relief. Judge Harper stepped forward, his face still pale, but his voice trembling. "If it weren't for Leo, we probably wouldn't be here today." Ethan hugged Leo, his voice choked up. "You are a real hero." The dog wagged its tail slightly, not understanding the compliment, but its eyes were full of pride and trust. That day, Leo not only saved people's lives, he became a living testament to the power of dog loyalty and extraordinary intuition. News of the incident spread quickly. Major television networks reported on the canine dog that saved the courtroom from a time bomb. Millions of people shared the story on social media, calling Leo a four-legged hero and praising the bravery and loyalty of service dogs. A week later at the city police headquarters, a formal ceremony was held. The officers, Judge Harper, and many others who had been present that day were all in attendance. Ethan led Leo to the podium, and the two received a warm welcome from the audience. Judge Harper presented Leo with the Medal of Valor, a shiny medal attached to the dog's collar. "Today we honor a man who saved dozens of lives. Leo taught us that loyalty and intuition are worth trusting." He said, his voice low, but filled with emotion. The applause continued for a long time. Many people shed tears when they saw Leo raise his head high, his ears perked up, as if he understood that everyone was giving him respect. Ethan leaned down and hugged Leo's neck. "You deserve all this." That day, Leo was not only awarded a medal, but also given eternal love and gratitude from the people whose lives he saved. After the ceremony, Leo's story continued to spread across the country. Schools, community organizations, and news outlets cited the K9 as a testament to courage and loyalty. Many letters of thanks poured into the police department, including from families who were in the courtroom that day expressing their deep gratitude. Ethan and Leo became a very famous couple. Every time they patrolled, people recognized them and came to shake hands and take pictures with Leo. But for Ethan, the glory was not as important as the moment he saw his partner happy, healthy, and loved by everyone. An author wrote a children's book based on Leo's story, inspiring children to be courageous and believe in what is right. The heroic K9 dog became a symbol not only of the city, but also of kindness and the strength of the bond between humans and animals. Leo didn't understand all the praise, but every day when he was on duty with Ethan, he still wagged his tail proudly, as if to say that he was always ready to protect everyone. The story of Leo, the K9 dog who saved the entire courtroom, brings a profound message about trust, responsibility, and the bond between humans and animals. The biggest lesson is to never underestimate instinct and loyalty, because sometimes it is the simple things that save human lives. It also reminds us that courage is not only about following the rules, but also about daring to act when you see danger, even if it goes against the convention. In life, we often get caught up in routine and safety, but sometimes listening to our instincts, empathy, and intuition can help us make the best decisions. At the same time, the story shows that trust, respect, and love for animals can not only bring happiness, but can also create unexpected miracles.